everyone, welcome to episode 3 of the No Days Off podcast. We're super excited for this episode. We are joined with one of the most humble coaches in the industry, in my personal opinion. It's very rare that you get to meet such a genuine character who's inspiring so many people and on the rise within the industry. You've probably heard the name floating about this season, accomplishing also a pro card with IFBB pro card with one of your athletes. I'm seeing all sorts of pro cards this year within NFM, PCA, many more. We have trained by Fox, Mr. Micheal Fox.
Woo! Thank you for having me on. Where do I start?
Right.
We are happy to have you.
We
are. I mean, you've wanted him on for how long now?
A very long time. I've been here like, when are you free?
I'm the first coach on this.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's on here.
We're like, when are you free? I think where we kind of want to start in terms of maybe necessarily what I haven't seen or we haven't seen like from your socials is your origin story and how you got to Team Foxy. Where we are
Christ,
today.
So just go from where it started.
Just a whole load of waffle. That's what we want.
It's going to be quite deep. So it was always weirdly the acronyms was, if you ever watch wrestling. Did you watch wrestling?
Yeah, I watch wrestling.
Can you remember NWO?
Yeah.
Right, so they used to literally go around and spray NWO. And similar to you guys, like the branding's everywhere. And that was always a kind of thing like, and I thought, oh, what can I do? And I remember me and Molly were sat up and I says, I wanted to just do it because a few friends in the gym wanted to start like me PT in them, and then I created this, and she created this logo, and it was exactly that. It was like TBF, and I was like, that'd be quite cool. And it never really kicked off because I always had it in my mind. It was like, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this. And at the time, I was obviously prepping and doing all this, and I quickly realised I was a shit bodybuilder. Right. And I thought, right, I know what I need to do. I need to hire someone that is where I want to be. And this particular person wasn't at the time. He was a British champion, but he wasn't an IFBB pro. His name's Jamie Joel. And I worked with Jamie, and again, immediately from anyone I'd ever worked with to where I was, everything was different. Like food went straight up to a point where it got to like 9,000 calories. And I'm telling you this because this then rev was into next level. One morning I had a heart attack. Wow. And again, it was I woke up and I was sweating to death and my shoulder hurt. I'd worked in just a warehouse, and I remember it was payday and I rang him and I said, I can't come in today. So it was accusing me of like, oh, you're just trying to slack off. Yeah. And my partner says, you need to go to the hospital. I rang him and he said, I think we're having you on. You need to come to the hospital, got there, did an ECG. And they stuck me in an ambulance, and it was the ambulance driver that told me, he goes, how old are you? And I was like, at the time I was 28. And he turned around and he goes, hey, you look so young you're young to say you're having a heart attack. And I'm like, what? Yeah. And we get to the thing, and they did an angiogram and did this. And I remember sitting there in this like hospital bed, and I was in there for about 2 weeks, and like every other night, just fucking in tears. Yeah. And I was asking myself, like, I constantly keep putting the things off that I want to do. And like tomorrow's not promised. There's no fucking, like, we could drive home tonight and something could happen to us. Yeah. And I was like, I need to do it. And I rang Molly and I says, Molly, how much have we got in our savings? And I went online and I was like, right, PT course, book it, do this. And I just literally emptied, like, without her, I wouldn't be where I am. Because it wasn't my savings. Oh man, money went to fucking bodybuilding. Yeah. It was her savings that paid for the course, that did that. And then obviously I prepped that year because I wanted to do it. And the more I did it, and it was more so again to like leverage, like again, right, you can do this, you can get yourself in shape so you can help other people. And I never wanted to put anyone in that position because again, I'd had a heart attack at the hands of another person, in my opinion, right? Yeah. The drug use to the food and just the lack of actual collecting data and asking me how I was. And I thought, this needs to stop. And luckily, Callum Rainstrick from, at the time it was CR Physiques, that was his old brand. We was good friends. It was a weird story because when I originally wanted to coach, I went to Cal Cal sent me his consultation form, and then I said, oh, how much is it, Cal? And I told him completely, he said, 150 quid a month.
Right.
Couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
I said, Cal, I can't afford it. This other guy was 100. I was like, right, I can afford that. And anyway, I ended up going back to Cal after the heart attack. And I learned a lot more about health markers, tracking metrics, and all of this.
Proper education about it as well.
Yeah, and mate, a lot, like almost, what was incredible with working with Cal is he doesn't just go do this, he will send you a link to the relevant study or something, and he massively got me into education.
Yeah.
Which was phenomenal. And then obviously I competed, I was telling you about this earlier, and it was UK BFF, just as they was kind of, in my opinion, crumbling to like PCA to two bros, and the lineup wasn't a great competitive thing, but I got awarded second place, and there was just no emotion there. Put it down, and that was great. And then coming away from that day, I like sat and I was like, what do I actually want? Like, I've started this PT, but I need something. And one of my friends at the time, he was competing, and I went to his show and I got a lot of goosebumps from it, and I was like, I want that feeling. I always questioned my ability to coach.
Right.
And I started PTing, and this is where it started coming. I started PTing, and I worked at Exercise for Less for a couple of years. I went to JD, and then I ended up at Virgin Active. And I hated delivering group exercise. This is where Train by Fox kind of come in. And I remember doing a class, and it was probably like 5 or 6 weeks into this class. And you've got, normally in classes, you've got like Karen, middle-aged woman who's just trying to lose some weight. You've got Steve, who is a marathon runner and he wants to just show off and talk about himself. And you've got this other person, and you've got this other person, and they would never talk to each other at any point in their life. They would never speak to anyone. But in that class for that 45 minutes, they interacted and they mingled and stuff. And then generally after time, it was like, I hated the class, hated it. Who wants to do bodyweight fucking exercises? Mm. But then you started seeing these people mingle, and I was like, Train by Fox. And I just wanted to bring people together in that like caliber of going, I don't care what happens in your personal life, because no one supports what you're doing in the gym.
Yeah.
But if you bring people together, they've got one thing in common. They like to work out and they're fighting a battle. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that's what people don't necessarily kind of confirm, that there's something that's making them go into a fucking room on their own, train and put your body through some sort of torture. Yeah. And get a relief from it. Yeah. There's some battle you're doing, whether you've come from a drug addiction or alcohol addiction or something, or even just a bad relationship. Because mine, I started the gym through a broken relationship. I was really overweight, and this particular person said to me, like, you're out breath when you go upstairs, like all of these things, and it made me feel very body conscious to the point, right, now I'm in the gym. Right. And that demon that I was fighting is still there, because like that one person at that time that I loved said something that literally like stabbed me. Yeah. I'm going on that tandem, aren't I?
No, it's good. Everything.
Reining it back to like that. So then, I remember I still kept going through shit jobs. Prior to that, and Molly again said to me like, right, you can take this full time. I was like, well, I can't. So she's a beautician, and she's self-employed, and she works way up. And she says, yeah, just take the risk, do it. I did that, and I quit Virgin. And I set up like Train by Fox as just an independent PT. And I remember like I'd sit in the gym multiple hours a day, and I'd never get a client. Ever. Like, I'd be like, why am I doing this? Like, coming home, Molly like, oh, I need to go to the food shop more. We do this. And she was like, yeah. And I remember seeing her like, there was times where she'd buy my rump steak while she'd eat a fucking gammon piece. And this gammon was like out his own fucking £1 job. And I sat there, and it used to make me feel disgusting, but she was like, no, I want you to, this is what you're doing. You need at the time it was like, you need your physique to represent things for people to come to.
I love that she saw that as well.
Honestly. And anyway, so then it carried on. And obviously you think about like the peak world of PT, right? Just predominantly straight away from a PT, a large amount of my clients was like middle-aged women. And the amount of times you'd have a consult and one would slap the fucking hand on you and say, I'm sure you can sort this out. And I'm like, no. They'd offer like almost sex in replace for that. And I used to always go home to Molly and like tell her, and she'd obviously, because she's a beautician with the girls, probably telling her stories like, oh, I've slept with my PT and all this. And it was Molly, I'm not going to ever ruin my reputation or this. Like, I would, if that was to happen, we wouldn't be together.
How does she like handle that as well? Because I think
She trusts me.
I think it's a great dynamic that you have, and I think it shows because there is a lot of stereotypes out there for PTs, and I've seen those ones as well.
The PT industry needs policing more within that. Like, if more women and males was to come out and talk about the fact that someone's been inappropriate, whether male or female, because women are just as fucking bad. Right. There would be less of it. It's like anything. It's like if you out with someone about it, that ain't gonna happen again.
Yeah.
Because you can spend like train my Fox 6 years. It takes one person to have a bad thing to say about me, and that would fucking flood the gates. And everything you've tried to build or create your name on gets ruined. But this is so where a lot of this is. I remember when I worked at Exercise First, there's a PT I worked with. And he got this one particular one, he got sacked from the business because we were sending inappropriate pictures to a girl on the gym floor who was underage.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Then there was another one who was sleeping with clients in the staff room. And I remember I watched this particular one, and his client base went from up here to down here.
Yeah.
And it's because people talk. That girl now is slept with a PT, tells a friend tells her friends tell their boyfriends. The boyfriends aren't going to send their girls to that gym because that's gym. So that was a good experience to see how that happened. But it's always like, why are you going to do that? Like, I'm going on a tangent again. So like, say within the coaching industry, and the thing is, you have to be very much like, this is concrete. You can't do this behavior. Like, realistically, if we look at females' clothing now, to some degree, there's things that would be acceptable to check in, and there's things that would be unacceptable to check in.
Right.
And for most people, those things that are unacceptable would still be normal, but they're not normal. Like, say, like a knitted pair of underwear, that it shouldn't be checking in that. But for some people, they're very confident in what they wear. They'd send them you. So you have to be concrete and knit that straight in the mud.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, that's going to grow into something.
Yeah.
Do you then have, say, rules and regulations to your clients then, and
There's
how
a
they should
welcome
do
guide.
and how they do
Yeah.
check-in pictures?
Absolutely. So in the welcome guide, it expresses it, and I've had clients that started with me, and this is a really weird one. In a way, it's nothing, but their front picture, underwear, bra, perfect. Side shot, underwear, bra, perfect. Rear shot, suddenly the pants down, but the bra goes up. Like, why the fuck do I need to see that part of your back?
Yeah.
Like, put a damn bra on.
Yeah.
Because at some point, you're probably going to find that you're in a relationship with a controlling male, and it's not, why did you do that? It's, why did he accept that?
Yeah.
And you just got to be very protective of your energy, because people will try and ruin that. I feel like we're completely
So
But it's nice to see that how professional you are, and obviously monitoring the backbone of your progression to where you are, and knowing like how much it means to you. You've clearly shown that in your work.
Yeah.
And I think that's where you're getting it to right now.
yeah, and I love that you're wearing her.
Yeah.
I love you're wearing her.
She's going to be the go-to makeup artist.
I love
She's wearing both brands. Look at that. Represent.
It's like representing the household. No, I love that, and I think it's, do you know, it really like moves my heart, the fact that she had an element of sacrifice. Like, you need to eat.
Yeah.
You like you're gonna have what you need to eat because I believe in you and I believe in your business, and I want you to be on top. Like, she cared that much for you, and she saw that potential in you.
It wasn't just an easy road for you to
No,
get to.
so like when we got together, we're going to rewind right back to like 2011 or 2012, one or the other. She was living with her dad, and dad was abusive, right? And we'd only been together like 2 months.
Yep.
And I saw it, and I was like, you're not living with your dad anymore. You're going to come and move in with me and my mum. And she moved in, and we was probably again in that, and she was probably at my mum's for about 2 months. And her dad had then started to be moving on to a son, a brother, sorry, not a son, a brother. And we was like, we need to save your brother. Like, this guy's a fucking animal.
Yeah.
So then we said, right. I said to my mum, like, I know I've only been with this girl for 4 months, but we're gonna have to find a place for her.
Yeah.
So then there was me, Molly, and her brother. And her brother's a lazy cunt. I said it, Kieran. You're lazy fucker. So like living in that dynamic fucked me off because I'm used to like my mum. I was the youngest in the house. So I was David.
Yeah.
Like she fucking ironed my underwear, my socks, like, and to then go to
We've
Molly.
all been there.
Molly doesn't like the iron. So I'm like, whoa. And then Kieran's like, he was just your traditional kind of lad who fucking out every weekend, spending all his wages on this. You go in and his dotty socks are here and all of this. And I've been in like a well-kept house. And again, my mum was a single parent bringing 4 of us up and she did all this. And now I'm in a house where there's this rebel. And I love him to bits, but he's just like, it always reminds me of like Toy Story 1, you know, the kid next door. He just reminds me of him.
Yeah.
And I think like we both made sacrifices. And I always remember, like, I said to her, like, I want to be with you for as long as you have me. And I think when the longer you spend with someone, and I think this is very true, like within anything, within a coaching, a job or anything, right, you either learn to respect the person first before you love them, or you learn to love them and then never gain respect for them. And I think respect has to be earned first in any relationship, because if you've no respect for the person, you ain't gonna fucking fall madly in love with them. I think there has to be some sexual influence there, like you have to be attracted to the person, but like respect has to come before love. And I massively respected how much care and love she had for her brother, like her story of like her mom and her dad and all of this, and I think I could have related because my dad was abusive to my mom, and I saw a lot of positive traits in Molly that my mom had. Like she brought 4 of us up, and that made me kind of then generally start falling in love with her. And it was like, again, at the beginning of a relationship, you're winging it. You don't know if it's going to work. Yeah. You're putting everything on the line, and we did that, and we didn't have anything. Like our first holiday together was like, we went to Turkey, and then we went to Tunisia, and we did all this. And then I remember like I'm going to fast forward even more, 2014 is I competed, and this is going to be a bit thingy here. I had nothing, I had no money. Like I was skinned, and I remember going into Tesco, and I scanned it to protein as potatoes, and I got caught.
Right.
And I got put in this is like 2 weeks out.
Right.
And it's going deep, I shouldn't tell about this. And I remember, like, I spent the day in a cell.
Yeah.
Which I think they were just setting an example of. But anyway, and Molly, like, ringing me and all this, and she was very stressed, and I was like, fuck, I'm going to lose this woman. I'm going to lose it. And I went out, and I was like, I literally put every money I had, and I bought like a fucking, sorry mom, 120 quid fucking engagement ring. And we was going to Vegas, like, what was it, 3-4 weeks after that show. And I went and I looked anorexic on stage, like stress was my body at work. And she was there, like my biggest fan and everything. And we went away, and I proposed to her, and she said yeah. And I was like, right. Before I proposed, I said, right, I'm gonna ask you something in a minute, and you can only say yes if it's forever. Like it has to be that, because I'm not fucking up. Like I've seen my mom with multiple broken relationships. I've seen this. I'm not going down that route. Yeah. Just fucking say no if there's any doubt. And she didn't, and she said yeah. And I think that's it. I think no matter what you're going through with someone, you can work out. Yeah. And we just proved to keep doing.
That's lovely.
That's straight my fault.
I was literally like, I've actually got tears in my eyes. Do you know what? I think, to go off on a slight tangent, I think this generation, like, we're so
disloyal.
Yeah, and we don't. I feel like with everything that's glamorized on social media, they don't understand that commitment is hard.
It is hard,
and it's like you're gonna have ups and downs, and to commit to someone that's exactly what it means, and you have to you know, you're there to be each other's backbone and to support each other no matter what. And I feel that nowadays, like, if someone either talks to someone wrong in the wrong way, that's it, they're done. They're like, you don't love me
people are seeking
anymore.
validation.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot more like, the way the world is going. There's so much out there now. Like, everyone thinks the grass is greener somewhere else. You can
see it.
You can always do better. Like, you can always. There's always so much to see on social
Someone's
media,
liking your picture,
Instagram, someone follows you, exactly.
People can't like.
And then everyone's like, they're just not thinking of what they have is enough.
No.
They think that they can get more, or they look at somebody else and they say, oh, they have that and they want that. It's about what you have is lovely. And that's why she's been brought to tears, because you clearly knew exactly what you wanted. You went for it.
It's always, if it doesn't feel like there's got to be some element of a gamble.
Yeah.
In anything you do.
Yeah.
Like, if there's not, like, you know, where you get that
You gotta be
feeling
a
of going on
risk
stage,
taker. Yeah.
like, I'm fucking nervous or I'm excited. There has to be that, because if there's not, like, the fuck are you doing? You're relaxed.
Yeah.
And I still like we had this conversation earlier, and I still kind of, like, I want to impress Molly every day.
Oh, you were talking about this,
yeah.
and
bang on.
And it's hard because I'm very selfish. In like, this is what I want.
Yeah.
Right? I never used to have this. I never had a 5-year plan. I never had this. I never had that. But like, I now see what I can achieve if I fucking get up every day and graft.
Yeah.
Right? And I know that by taking risks and investing in this and investing my time in this and actually putting effort into this, I can get to here.
Yeah.
And I want that.
Yeah.
But that means that she still has to continue sacrificing our time together and our enjoyment and all of this. And sometimes I think I do take advantage of the fact that one occasion she let me have fillet steak while she had fucking gammon. I think that's constantly in my mind that like she's going to stay with me. But it's like, she'll then a few days later go, you did it.
Yeah.
Like, it might be fucking hell. We've just moved house, and she come home one day and she was like, I can't believe the house has changed. I was like, yeah, Molly, I got up at fucking 2 o'clock this morning to get all my client work done so I can spend these 5 hours getting this done.
Yeah, that's right.
do you think she essentially then gave you the push that you needed to really kind of almost believe in yourself?
I think through watching her, like, so when me and Molly got together, she was working at Next Home, and she didn't need any pushing. She knew what she wanted to do. It was a very, like, I don't know if you've ever like known anyone to work at Next or anything, but there's like Next Sale and there's all this, and the staff of like, as any kind of retail base, you are just a number.
Yeah.
And she didn't want that, and she went to work for a salon. She still works for the same salon, and she kind of, again, on the flip side, I was working just a standard minimum paid job, but there was overtime available. She started at this salon, so she had to build her client base up, and I kind of watched her do that. And so then, like, it was always like she was also became my biggest inspiration. So when the time came to me sitting there like, I want to do this, and she was telling me I could, it was always her using herself as an example of like, right, the first year is going to be this. I had something to relate to.
Yeah.
Like, can't you remember that, like, this is what I had to do? Like, I could have come home at 10 a.m. because I had no clients in, but I stayed at work and I did this and I did that. Like, you're going to have to go to the gym and do this. You're going to have to go and post fucking leaflets around to try and draw something in.
Yeah.
So I think as much as she pushed me, it was like always like an internal factor that I'd seen what she'd done.
Yeah.
So it wasn't just, and I think that's where you have to, like, to some element as a coach, you have to walk the walk or walk the walk to be able to show your client that this can be done.
Yeah. So having that belief, I think the fact that she believed in you gave you that, like, it was like a superpower.
Yeah.
That I can do this.
And if I fail, she's not going to think any less of me.
Exactly.
She's just going to be there to pick you up.
She's just going to pick me up. Yeah.
So let's backtrack to, obviously you weren't getting any clients, you have women passing at you. Where did you go from there?
I had to take a part-time job. I started delivering takeaway. I started helping a friend. I was labouring as a bricklayer, like on a Saturday. which did negatively impact everything, because the more you do, the more you research, because I was still very passionate and making sure that my training was still a focus. And generally I looked and I was like, right, okay, going back to that group training idea, I started a girls only strength camp, because within the gym I trained at, there wasn't much of that. There was no like girls lifting, so it was like a 11-week thing, which then kind of brought me more into working with girls and potentially, well, essentially building confidence within that. And there was one, her name was Emma, and she was very much obsessed with tracking her cycle, which then brought me into like educate myself further on that, and this, and then lockdown hit, and I shit myself, like legit shit myself, and because again, I wasn't at the point where I had financial security from what I was doing. Molly didn't have financial security, like now she's just been, I don't know what's it, and one of my clients, his name, Dan, he ran a joiners, and he said, right, I can get 3 weeks work in London, fitting sneeze screens, which was great. It made me, within those 3 weeks, it made me like 7k. But it was like long hours, like working through the night. Like you two live in London, don't you?
Yeah.
So like something looked 5 minutes away, it's 45 minutes away.
Yeah.
So it was like a long doing all of that, which gave me again like a pocket of money to survive on. So I went on Facebook Marketplace, and I bought a new MacBook. I bought some just bits of exercise equipment like tires, dumbbells, and I started doing a boot camp in a park. And I got all my PT clients there. I said, you're not paying me, but you need to promise me that when the gym's open, you will book PT.
Yeah.
You need it.
Yeah.
And they did, and then Cal says, why don't you start a bit of, because he again was quite a big inspiration for me, he said, why don't you start doing a bit online? I don't know where to start, Cal. How do you do that side? And he just says, just treat the client as you would on the gym floor, but you're not doing that. And that started, and then obviously after all these people, everyone was in a rush to get in shape, weren't they?
Yeah.
So that happened, and then obviously we had that stint through like November where everything shut off again for that month. And I remember I hired a garage and just put all the gym stuff in there and said, right, I'm going to PT you. This is where you're going to come. It was the disgustingest thing you've ever seen, but they came, and that carried that on. And then I rebranded. I thought, right, now's the time to try and like go down more so that route of Trained by Fox. And I hired a videographer, and I was into the videographer like that. I very much want to build a community now, because within anything, if people are doing this solo, right, the minute there's any sort of, this is where it's real, if the minute there's any sort of financial difficulty, right, they will drop off. But if there is a community of people, they will find a way, because they'll want to stay within that. And with everyone at the time that I coached together, and it was magic. It was like we'd already always used to do team days and all of this, and that just built it. And then one day I come home, I remember she was, now you need to stop wasting your time PTing. She said, because majority of my PT clients was actually kind of like therapy clients.
Right.
None of them really went to me for a transformation.
Yeah.
They went to me to like, there's this one, and one of my longest term PT clients, Paolo, I remember I used to always say to him, I was like, if I couldn't, I would put a gazebo over us every time we train.
So then, where would you then say the coaching business kind of started taking off from obviously the PT client?
If you'd asked me if I ever thought I'd be coaching athletes, the answer is no. Because there was never any level of like thinking I knew enough. But then when I started coaching like lifestyle clients, it was like education doesn't do the job. It's like you learn that every individual you almost work with is a guinea pig.
Yeah.
And you're going to make mistakes, and you're going to learn from the mistakes. And the longer you work with said individual, the better you become at knowing that person's body. And I remember I had I had a client, Benji, he's still with me now, and he's made incredible progress. Like, he was meant to compete this year, but he fucking dropped out, you prick. And he was one of my first kind of guys that I remember putting on stage, and it was at the PCA first time was in London, and he didn't place, but like, and there was guys in that category far bigger than him, far conditioned than him. And I remember, and I was like, you always get this kind of thought in your head, like, I don't want to lose this person, like this isn't the condition I want to bring. And then a month later I had 2 more, and they competed. And again, they constantly said to me, it's like, Mark, I could go to any coach, I could pay any coach, but they're not going to give me the support and care that you do. Mm-hmm. And I was like,
they don't want to be, it's like you said earlier with Molly, like working at Next.
Yeah.
They don't want to just be another number. Like they need to, because competing means a lot to the athlete, and to the individual, or the journey that like we're all going on is so personal. Like you need to be able to connect with someone that actually understands what it is that you're going through, because the journey is not easy. And as much as you know, you have a responsibility as an athlete to kind of know what you're getting yourself in for, and try find ways of managing it and pushing yourself through. We all need somebody to also turn to at times, as that's gonna kind of keep you going.
This is the problem within the coaching world, and I am calling out anyone that has this, is when the fuck did business hours become a thing in coaching? Like, I understand that you need your time to switch off and stuff, but like, if somebody needs you, they need you. I still get like clients, and again, I will never let an inquiry throw shade on another coach, because that's a red flag for me. Because that basically means that you're quite open to be brutal about the previous person, even though there's probably 110 great things that you could say about them.
Yeah,
you're straight on that, so that is a red flag. But commonly there's a theme of the communication side being quite blunt. He didn't take this into context, you didn't do this, or I couldn't message on this day, or I couldn't message here. And it's like, you have to realise that like online means online. You don't have you can't, there's no off switch.
And I feel like with prep especially, like anything could happen at any point in time of day.
Absolutely.
So, you know, like
this is giving me anxiety knowing that I can't reach my phone.
that's good. That's
good. So that means you care. Yeah. Before we get into that, I do have to mention that No Days Off, I have launched some new clothing for the women's wear.
Whoop, whoop.
So we now have unitards, we have new scrunch bum shorts, we have I was like, I'm wearing it. Say we have a new
sleek
co-ord set for more of your lifestyle kind of girls. This is definitely my go-to pop to the supermarket kind of everyday wear.
Minimal the branding is on it.
Yeah, and this is, I would say this is definitely moving in the direction of the luxury range. So if you want to grab your hands on some of the new bits, you can use code Courtney20, all in capitals, for 20% off. And please check out
Josh's code. Josh,
we'll give you my code yet.
He's gonna give it to everyone for free. And I'm joking.
No.
And for check out the menswear as well. We've got menswear collection coming soon also. So, if you're serious about your business, join the No Days Off gang in the community.
Get supported.
Yeah, right. So I want to kind of unpack a bit.
Can I jump in there?
Go for it.
The bodybuilding, 100%. Being online is 100% something that every coach should do. Even with my clients that I've had that have done some shows, you want to be there to make sure that you're available for any issue, for anything that's going through your head. Because bodybuilding, I've done it, you've done it. Yeah. It's not a part-time thing. It's not like other sports where you can go training, do your match, go home, eat what you want, chill. It's a constant thinking of what I'm doing next till you go to sleep.
Yes.
And then you're managing when I sleep and I wake up in the morning, do my cardio, and it starts again straight away as soon as you wake up.
Let me ask you this and put it into this context. When you don't know something in anything in life, we revert to YouTube or Google. Right? Now somebody's hired a coach and they're paying them. regardless of how silly or stupid that question may be for a coach, they should be able to be there at any point.
Yeah.
Now, given a time, if you're texting someone at 10:30 and you don't get a reply till the next morning, that's not.
Yeah.
But if you're asking something and you're made to feel dumb, like I have to tell clients, and I will say this, like there's been times where I remember, I'll tell a story. There's a client, Vicky, I'm calling you out, and this again was very easily figured. It's like, so in my like meal plan on the sheets at the time, you've got portion amount, and it's always explained within your initial onboarding video. So this portion is multiplied by this or divided by this, right? And Vicky, bless it, my breakfast was like 1 heck chicken sausages, 1 egg and 1 bagel, but it wasn't, it was like 2, 1 or something.
Yeah.
And then the next meal was like, it said 100 portion size and it said 0.5, so pasta was 50 and the chicken was like 120, but it said 100. So she was having all this, so like some meals she was overeating,
Right.
some meals she was undereating.
Yeah.
Right, so her protein I worked out was like 76 grams because what she was doing and all of this, and she made an amazing progress. Like it kind of shows you that you can get away with doing much less protein.
Yeah.
She could have much more carbs, and it was like that. And she goes, "Oh, I just never understood it. I didn't want to look stupid." But you're never going to look fucking stupid.
That's what you're paying for. You're paying for
Google.
You're paying for education.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
And we can say, I don't know that. And I think coaches sometimes put it on the client of like, oh, he's asking me stupid questions because we don't know it.
Yeah.
It's not stupid. It's never going to be stupid. And I think going back to that is like, I remember like when I first started bodybuilding, I asked people, I wasn't paying them. I asked people stupid questions. Like, is 10 gram of creatine too much creatine? Because this thing says 5 gram and this thing says 10. Like, what's it? My friend says he has cereal post workout. Can I have cereal or is it bad for me? Like, you ask those stupid questions.
So I do the same thing though. So I'll see things and I'll ask, and
You
I'll
have
be like,
to ask.
and I'll be like, am I allowed to have that? Am I allowed to have this? Because sometimes as well, especially when it comes to like the food element of questions, there might be something that they ask which you might have never thought of or considered.
We look at the past history, right? Is we've all fucking been brought up on bread's bad, right? Most people, if I get a client come to me and they're like 33, 35 onwards, right? I know that they believe that low fat, it must be low fat, it must be low sugar, they can't have salt. How wrong is that?
Yeah.
Obviously, if they're tracking their blood sugars and stuff, they may be able to be very custom telling this or that and the other. But it's like, we've had things indented into us from our parents and so on that we can't have this, we can't have that. Like my fucking granddad used to say, bless his soul, too much red meat's bad for you. Too many fucking eggs.
Every woman's afraid of carbs, and they won't eat carbs.
And they
salad. That's all
exactly that. And I think that knowing that is you can't alienate people from asking. Like going back to where I think it was like I spent endless hours reading studies, watching videos, and half the stuff I forgot. Because you educate yourself on it and it's there at your disposal. But unless someone's asking about it, I won't remember, because you're not going to implement half of what you know. Because it's very much how many coaches you worked with? Two. How many coaches you work with?
I've worked with any coach.
He has
apart from Raf.
You have a sensei.
Yeah, Raf. He was he always says he never coached me. He gave me a bit of like pointers, and I would say he's my coach. But I never had a coach. I researched so much.
Think of this guy.
I researched so much. I studied sports science in university.
Oh, that's amazing. But I don't have that as a coach. How many coaches have that?
Yeah.
But yeah,
do you know what I mean? And then I kind of implemented things that I was learning into my training, as well as asking questions. I asked so many questions in the gym. I used to go up to people and say, so why'd you do that? Or questions, understand what everyone else do. Take the best bits to the bad
Try
bits.
them and get rid of them. Take what Josh is saying here there's power of asking, right? There's probably a lot of people out there on the fence about hiring a coach. Josh is an IFBB pro and pretty much coached himself through questioning, this is going to be bad for business. But it is possible if you're someone that wants to learn. If you have like traits within your mental health where you won't be able to switch off and you're constant, maybe you need help. But if you're very confident and you want to learn, it can be.
I think as well, people are so afraid to fail that they also feel like they have to have a coach as well. Like I feel a coach is a very good thing if you haven't come from any sort of fitness background and don't have the knowledge, because going into bodybuilding can be very dangerous, especially more so for women if they don't have an understanding of like regulating their hormone health, you know, like. But in a sense as well, there are some bad coaches out there.
How many females don't know about their menstrual cycle?
Well, this is the thing, that they don't know whether to track
because
it.
He wasn't educated at school for it. He was educated to buy a pack of tampons and
take a pill.
use them. And that in, like, we won't go into that, but that's you taking assistance. Because it's regulating your hormones for you. You don't realise it's doing it. And like, taking testosterone is no different to you taking a fucking pill. I know that sounds stupid as shit, but it's doing something that you're not in control of.
Of course. But a lot of there's so many women that I've come across who have had like the wrong guidance, and then they then get a good coach, and then that coach then has to spend so much time fixing their body before they can actually do anything with it.
It's sometimes from a coaching point, the client coming to you with a particular goal, and this is what I want, you actually have to end up teaching them that isn't what they want. They're made to feel they want that because of society and social media. And then you start learning and you're unraveling and you get to know the person and you're like, nah, you don't want this. The goalpost changes. You go along with it initially, you learn it, and sometimes it's the complete opposite. Oh, I just want to lose a better weight. No, you don't. You want to fucking compete and win. And then you have to go, right, let's embed these traits of an actual professional. Like, what's this person doing on the daily?
How would you then, when a client comes to you, because especially within bodybuilding, like categories, so I feel I'll speak for more like women. The most common is bikini, and most women will want to become a bikini athlete, as an example.
You've been neutral and savage at the same time.
So how do you let's say, for instance, if I came to you and I was like,
you're not figure.
I was like, I want to be a figure athlete, and then you're like, no, you're not figure. It's like, no, I want to
pull a figure pose and tell you how stupid you look.
So like, how do you then, you know, set that expectation, or like look at a client and be like, this is the category for you?
So this is where, like, sometimes a person has to have made a fool of themselves to realise they're not that.
So almost tough love.
Say your friend has got into a relationship with someone and you know he's bad. Right, you can't tell them that. They're going to make a mistake. And then it happens. Right, you can do that. But it's very dependent. So like, right now, I'd say within the UK specifically, within females, wellness has become a great fucking, like, it's become a more popular.
I think that's just purely based on the fact that girls want big bums, though.
But it's also, you look at that, and it's like everyone's like, oh, it's lower only. But then you look and you think, because I review shows because I want to see, right, okay, what potential competition is at the next show. I don't tell clients that because it's you versus you, right? But I'm doing that. I'm obsessed with that. I know I could probably tell you what the shape of the girl that won the fucking PCA show at the beginning of the year, right? And you'll review and you'll look and you'll go, fucking hell, that was a poor standard of wellness at that show. That was a poor standard of wellness at that show. That was a poor standard of wellness at that show. That was like, those girls was overweight. Now there's someone that is looking at that and going, I could do that.
I think there's a massive misconception with wellness, like, and I've even had like friends that said, oh, I want to go into wellness because I don't want to be that lean. And it's like, if you look at the Olympia wellness girls, they are shredded. It's just, but like, they're all muscle. That's why they look the way that they do.
And then you need. So I've got a client, Sophie. She competes in Milan. We go to Milan on Thursday, right? She's 24. She's natural. She has such an incredible gene.
She's the one that's been getting all the pro cars this year.
Yeah. Right. Now she's 24. Now I had to tell her this openly the other week. I said, "You're not going to Milan to be competitive. You're going to Milan to stand backstage with those females and look at them from their facial features to their physique to potentially even getting a flash of their private parts backstage on your own, to ask yourself, is that the route that you want to go down?"
Would you say then to be wellness, like, because I kind of can see what you're touching on.
You probably do it.
Like,
to be competitive and to go to
you
the
have to be
higher league, I
assisted.
think you have to be assisted.
Yeah.
You have to be to get to that level. Like even within bikini now, you could almost argue and say if you'd have to be assisted. Like there are some very genetically gifted athletes that within bikini that will do very well.
Yeah.
But there's going to be shows that at some
I guess a recognition.
at some point that's going to, you're going to have to unravel that. Like and I think I don't want to talk in absolutes because I don't want anyone to listen to what I'm saying and then suddenly go and get in touch with the local drug dealer and all this. Right. But is it healthier as a female to compete naturally, or is it healthier to compete assisted?
That's a good question. That's a good question.
So now you look at the amount of frequency you can naturally can compete at. So like, I know that I take a risk with like my athlete. We both know her. With how many shows that she's done, and I'm conscious all the time of the decisions I'm making. Right, sometimes like I will go, right, here's her body weight. This is how many pounds of how many calories per pound I'm giving her. That's short, and then I have to go, right, now I'm gonna feed this person up, because if I don't, like, and she's always been very great. We're talking about you, Naya, and she's
we'll just say the name.
And it's been like endless time she's been on show day. She's still got a menstrual cycle, and that to me is like, that puts my mind at rest.
Yeah.
Now, to then do that endless time, I've got clients that within the minute you take fucking curly whirly chocolate bar off them, they lose their menstrual cycle. It's like, it's in the bin. Prep hadn't even started.
Yeah.
And you have to look and think, right, okay, what is the look we're trying to achieve? You look at the Olympia level bikini athletes, right? There's a certain level of muscle mass achieved. Now you have to look and go, right, how old am I? What's my shelf life? What has been my average level of growth over this? Like, obviously you can look after programming, you can look after this, but there is lipolytics, of fat burners, there's thyroid medication, there's all these other things that you can use at your disposal to help from that point.
Yeah.
Competing naturally is an incredible thing, but I think you have to look into it and research.
You have to take care of yourself. Yeah, no, I think that with natural athletes, like in women, it is also good to kind of take some time off, like re-regulate the body. Like, I just think it's that, and that's where a coach is really beneficial, and you need that knowledge. And I guess from your perspective, again, back to that management of your clients, is because I think we get so obsessive with competing, and you know, it is great to
it's incredible.
It
keeps you relevant as well.
Yeah,
that's the hardest part, I think, for females, is you go into an off season, you finish your prep, no one's asking how you are, and I think that feeling of like you've lost people, and I think it's really hard, and I think people want to keep it like. Naya got her wild card from NFM to compete this year. She hadn't got that. We wouldn't be doing this. We wouldn't. Not. We have talked about this. We have talked about that. But I think I can trust her, because I know, like, she'll tell me when, like, she'll be very open, like, with everything. With some clients, they could. I'm sorry to be thingy here. They could be fucking bleeding and not be open.
Yeah.
No, I just want to make the opposite. We've got such an information, and I have to have that with females. I have to, right? If you're constantly breaking down and fucking crying every time it's your period, there's something not right. But going back to the comment around having to be assisted, I think in the UK we have WNBF, we have BNBF, we have UKDFBA, we have Two Bros Naturals now, and though people disagree with the way they run things in terms of you only have to be natural at this, I think within the IFBB over the next few years we are going to see that they push natural bodybuilding more. And I think they need to do that, because if you look at the the women's divisions, bikini, wellness, figure, bodybuilding, and the males even, right? That we're getting more monstrous. Like fucking the bikini athletes look incredible. Yeah. Like when bikini came a thing, it was like girls that just walked off a beach.
Yeah, it literally was bikini.
You watched a UK BF athlete and you'd be like, fucking hell, I could go and pick 5 friends up, like stick them in a colourful bikini.
Anyone could really do it.
And now you actually look and go, how the fuck can that happen?
Yeah.
How can a female
the
push that? And it's inspirational.
Yeah.
Like, a guy has no doubts on stage, and this fucking bikini athlete comes out and she's got fucking traps.
Yeah.
I think bikini's so underrated as well. Like they think it's easy, but it's actually like I feel like bikini's such an art form because it like. Bikini's one of the classes where proportions are so...
It requires you to forget about your future, in my opinion, right?
Okay.
How many grandmas walk around with that sort of shape? Big glutes, decent-sized hamstrings, relatively good adductors, large delts. How many people could, like... It'd be worse than a Zimmer frame. You'd need a crane to hold you up. Like, you're fucking, like, you'd be constantly in lordosis at some point. But I think kind of going back to like where I was going with the wellness thing is like what's happening with a lot of females is getting into that is like I know fucking hell, I'm tandeming. I know that when Naya won her overall at the PCA first timers and then she went to the Worlds the week after and she got 5th through 2023 through the beginning I was getting a lot more inquiries from girls, which is great because that again like you don't choose your niche chooses you. And I do want to work with a lot more guys, so please inquire. So then, and that was happening, and obviously you build that success and that, and I think I never suddenly described myself as a bikini coach. But you see within like other areas, you'll see that within coaching, whether it's I'm a wellness coach, I've got this, I've got that. And it's very hard for you to say that because Naya is a genetic freak. She's an hard worker,
she's got amazing,
right? But she's got incredible, So me having success with Naya, right? Because of Naya's work ethic, because of Naya's genetics, right? Anyone could do that. But I'm not going to discredit myself and say,
you've definitely put in
the hours and this, but like when you have athletes like that, that's great. But it's like over the years of working with Naya, like we've gone. So I remember when she inquired, she did a photo shoot. She come to me and she was like, I'm either going to go take up boxing or I'm going to do a photo shoot. And she sent me this picture and she was working at UFC. She just sent a picture like that. I goes, please never pull that photo. And then we got into the photo shoot and she loved it. And then she met Jodie Delaney. She got posing with her and I think she took inspiration from what she'd achieved. And then she went on to this and she went on to that. And she just took over and the more. And I think athletes or judges probably see something different, like outrageous hairdo, kind of very charismatic woman, like also someone that does essentially get on stage and from the very off looks quite shy. But then the minute she flicks it and she like, I've always called her the imposter. Like she shouldn't, in theory, in comparison to how confident a lot of the other girls come on stage, she shouldn't be getting it. But then with how she smashes it, it's like, yes, you found that inner Naya, whoever it is, there's somebody there that she unravels. So then having all that success with Naya brought around other female. And then you look and you think, right, the one thing I need from a female more than I need a male is I need a relationship. I need that person to be able to open up. I need that person to tell me not to be rude or anything, but like, right, where's your sex life at? Like, I know that's the thing, but it's like I need you to be able to have that conversation with me, like, because and there's sometimes I'll have a conversation with a partner and say, hi mate, hope you're good, or even if it's female, like, right, you need to understand that this person is in a large caloric deficit. They're doing a lot of output. It's not about you. Whatever happens, this person's probably going to be very like uninterested in sex. This person's going to be this. It's not about you. You have to have these conversations and you have to be very open to be like, right, what do you want? And she's like, what do you mean? I was like, right, I'm your coach. I've got your best interest at heart, but this isn't a dictatorship.
Yeah.
Do you want first place?
Yeah.
Do you want to participate? Do you want this? And you start unraveling it all, and most people just want to feel loved.
So with that then, when you get a client, because I remember the first coach I had was the first question they asked me was, "What's my why?"
It's just lead gen.
And they said, they said to me, they was like, why do you want to compete? And I knew what my why was, and he was quite shocked that I was like very sure. But I think a lot.
What was your why?
A lot. So at that time, we spoke briefly about it earlier, but I'd been through a lot of trauma.
Yeah.
And I can't explain it. I knew deep in my heart this was the journey I needed to go on to beat that trauma.
Yeah.
I really needed to hold up a mirror to myself and face the person that I was running away from. And within bodybuilding, I went on a journey of self-discovery.
Yeah.
Because there's no one with you when you're in the gym. You're by yourself in your own thoughts. When you're depleted, doing cardio, you're exhausted, you don't feel like you can push no more. You're having conversations with yourself to get through it.
You can show up or you can shut down. That's the
and it's like, I was already facing demons where I had to I went for a dark time where it's like I had to wake up and tell myself I still needed to like push and be here. So within bodybuilding, I already knew I was a strong person because I'd been through life experiences and I was like, I'm still here kind of thing. So it was a moment of teaching myself that I am worthy and no one can
take that from
me. I'm in control. It was about, I wanted to find myself and it was me saying, I don't care what other people think. I choose me every day, every single time. And the way that I'm going to prove that is I am going to step on stage and I'm going to be my best self. And, when I didn't want to do the steps, I got up, I lost friends through the process. And, there were negative things that came from that journey, but I learned the people that should have been around me and in my life. And so for my why was I choose me.
But the friends that you lost, right? If you was to say, right, I'm gonna throw this party, it's this time and this day, and it was something, whether it was like an engagement party, they won't come.
No.
They'd choose other plans over it. And you can. I've done it where I've run like little tests with not necessarily friends, but like with things similar to that. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm thinking of doing this on this date. Are you available? And always second choice. And then I just isolate myself from that because I'm putting you on my priority list, and that's not favoured. Like I'm not gonna continue my focus.
That shows your growth in what
it's just maturity.
Well. Yeah,
it is maturity because we're not in the school playground anymore. We don't have to fit in.
100%. I think when I was in university, I was quite clear what I wanted to do. Like I didn't drink till have a drop of alcohol till I was 19. So my first year of uni, I just didn't drink, and a few of my friends found it weird. They quickly went away from me, and you can see you really see and filter out the people who actually will appreciate you for you, and the people who are there for the fun, there for
I was opposite.
The experience, So based on what you're saying as well, you do definitely see when you have something fixed on that you're so focused, you will filter out who should really be in your life, and that's not a bad thing at all. You shouldn't feel bad.
Success is lonely because not everyone can do it. We're in a world where people don't know how to be an individual.
But we all define success differently.
That is true.
I get a lot of people saying I can't believe you're there, I can't believe you're this, I can't believe you're that, and I'm like, right, I'm just happy. Right, I'm tired, and fucking there's not a single time that I'm not tired. But again, you're tired.
Yeah.
Right, and it's you have to find so when you talk about the Stairmaster and you talk about this, you find enjoyment from it because you learn to think. I always think to myself no one could do this.
You've literally.
That's the mentality.
No one can get. there's clients, and I heard this from Christian Chapman once actually, and it sit well with me. And he goes, you have to see each client you work with as an opportunity to see what your skill is. And if within that consultation that client doesn't scare you and make you think that I could do this, don't take them on, because it will fucking bore the death of you. And like I see now, like Naya as a clear confirmation in my mind. I can take someone from nothing and take them to the top if they want it.
How does it feel to do? How does it feel to do that as well? Like obviously she's going into her third season.
You just go on to the next one. Like, you appreciate it, you highlight it, but it's like, right, I can't get comfortable because we live like within a coaching world. We live in a worst dog world, right? If I fuck up, if I'm rude to my client, there's someone already in their DMs.
Yeah.
There's already someone sitting. Like me and you having a conversation earlier, right? When you, like, I kind of knew that you coached your partner, right? But I was looking and I was like, you've probably seen it from the outside in. How many little screws there are hovering around your DM. And they'll normally start with a couple of likes on your picture and stuff. And this is fine because it's business. How many DMs do you have Sky? Do you have Virgin?
Yeah.
How many DMs do you get off the opposite? Oh, not DMs. How many emails?
Yeah.
Always. And I know that keeps me there. I'm like, right. I have clients tell me like, this is the most various. I'm like, oh, I'll coach you for free. Clients tell me that people are offering them to coach for free, and they'd rather stay with me and pay me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's better than someone saying you changed my life. So I'm like, you would rather pay me than go to that person.
They see the value. They see the value, and they see that you are not just trying to gain out of them. You also learn with them.
Yeah.
You actually genuinely want to see them do well. And I think
they have to want to do well as well.
industry. Yeah.
They have to want to do well because, and I think this is a kind of, again, I think I said this earlier, like I'll often be on consultations with people and we have like a group chat, and within it, like every now and again I will like, right, welcome, can we all welcome such and such to the team?
Yeah.
This is their goal, this is their why. If you relate to this, like maybe reach out, make them feel welcome, blah blah blah. But then what that team of people I coach don't see is the amount of people I say no to. And you'll get on now, it's very easy to get on a consult and determine whether somebody wants, like I always use this reference, a Stone Island coach or a coach. Because coaching now and the gym and everything becomes such a trend. And with what people kind of can earn and what they can invest in, they'll invest in a coach to share it on, plaster it on social media and say I'm with Train by Fox and say this and it's so demoralizing to me at that point because I'm not a fucking coach, I'm not a badge runner. Like, I'm here to help you, but if you're here just to kind of like gain some traction or this, it's not going to happen. It's not going to make you feel better. Yeah, like I have to have that. And I remember seeing something that I asked somebody once, I was like, right, what was the last thing you bought? Like, what was the most expensive thing you bought? And he bought some Jordans. I was like, right, okay, did you pay for it by Klarna or cash? He says, Klarna, nothing wrong with using Klarna. I use Klarna all the time. Sorry, Molly. I do. And he was like, Klarna, and I was like, right, okay. How many times this week have you worn that pair of trainers? And he was like, oh, twice. I was like, do you like them? He was like, no. I was like, I'm not something you just buy. I'm not something you can pay and dislike. I'm like, I'm going to hold you accountable at a high level. Like, I will pull you up on your shit. Like, you're going to see a very neutral me, but you're going to see a very savage me. Like one of my clients, she came in a few months ago and she was like, oh, I had an extra 50 gram of Cocoa Pops. And I just turned around and said, second place is nice.
I love that.
For real.
And she just
that would trigger me so much.
And I just goes, I'm fine. And guess what? At first show, like, not to finger here, but she didn't get the place. She got the good place and she placed top 3, but she didn't get it. And I said, right, you've got a week to your next show. Show up. She won the overall.
There you go.
Accountability. That's what you pay. That's what you pay a coach for.
And I think with any coach watching this, right, I think that sometimes you are intimidated by some of your clients, right?
In what way?
but I don't know, because I know that I'm worth every penny I charge.
Mm-hmm.
Right. If I charged it, and I couldn't sleep at 200, I couldn't sleep. Do you know what I mean? But like for what I charge per month at 175, you get what I deem thing, and I deliver to a higher service. Now there's coaches charging more than that then probably feel threatened to be more savage, because that payment, if they lose that, that's a big punch in the fucking dick. Right. So it's like you have to look and go, or you have to be confident in it. But again, going back to the questions, right? It's also your job to unravel that problem and get to the bottom of it. So like, you often find, let's say, post-show, right? And suddenly every
I'm not good post-shows.
Every fucker's got an eating disorder.
Oh, no, yeah.
No, you haven't. You've got a fucking control problem, right? It's
That's
because
why.
everyone perceives prep as a 16-week, 20-week. Add 6 weeks on after your show.
Yeah.
Add that one. Pencil that in. As a coach, stop talking about that. Right. As a female, right? Did you lose your menstrual cycle?
What next?
Yes, right. Maybe prep's now 12 weeks after prep. Or maybe this, and you have to look and think, right, okay. And it's never the same individual to individual, but we need to look and go, right, what was the lowest your calories went to? Sub 1,000?
Oh, yeah. It wasn't.
Yeah.
So how the fuck can you go and binge when that's been your calories?
Oh, I tried.
It's a struggle.
And my
It's a
body.
struggle.
It's
Yeah,
difficult.
Some
It's
of
very
those-
I literally remember after like the last show that I had, you brought me like cinnamon buns and like a brownie. I was actually posting them all the time, like on Instagram, because that's what I was craving for the whole prep.
Everyone's so
But
paying
I
attention.
couldn't eat it though. I took one bite in the car and I was like, I was fast asleep.
That's good.
I couldn't physically. I'm scared. I couldn't. I was like, yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was fun. I couldn't physically eat it, and then I see people. The funniest one, we'll expose him because I know you won't mind. The funniest time was when we were all in Texas. We went to Cheesecake Factory after the show with NFM, and we were with Tamas and his missus.
Yeah.
I've never seen anyone put away.
Tamas, oh my
I've never seen anyone put away food. It was honestly like.
That was because he was depressed because you beat him, you bastard.
And I was sitting right in front of him as well.
He was. I don't know where he put. I said to him because I'm actually fascinated with how he put all that food away, because
so much.
because I just can't find the stomach for it, and my body just rejects it. My body doesn't want it.
Yeah, Tamas was so conditioned. I think he actually needed it. Like his condition was
massive. I remember he asked, because his coach, who was his coach? He asked me to take pictures in the toilet for him because his coach wasn't there. Isaac,
yeah.
And we were taking pictures, but Isaac was competing, wasn't he? Have I got that right?
I'm not too sure.
I'm not
No,
sure.
what's happening? I think he's good.
But he was taking pictures, and I remember seeing it, and he was like, I'm not, what do you think? And I'm like, pretty crazy, this is it's fucking crazy.
Doing alright.
Like, yeah, like they napped me.
Literally.
There was a good show though, like, what I liked about that, what I didn't like, but I liked the UK brought it.
Yeah.
And
It was,
across
very
across
competitive.
every category, they pretty much bought it.
We
And I think like, with
Yeah.
like, you know, with them going to like the WFF now, I don't know if you've just seen the results from the Brazilian show.
Yeah.
Those girls are fucking insane. I've
Yeah,
never seen them guys.
but to be fair, Brazilian women are genetically gifted.
Question. So I'm starting to hear a lot of things about what women can do with their glutes. You know, not naturally.
I don't know where this conversation was
Sorry,
going for a
I know
second.
this.
Metaphor.
That sounds a bit weird. Oops. So yeah, now I know what women can do. I've had a few conversations with some of the guys, some of the coaches actually in competitions, and saying like, oh, you can tell some of the women are having like, you know, lifts,
Yeah, you
the
can
glutes into, and I'm like, is that like a fair thing?
I don't think there's anything of a way of
And,
like
and the
telling
Brazilian
You won't like
community, not to say that they're not working for it, but it's quite common.
It's quite
So
cheap.
you know,
out there
like
to
a
get
guy
that.
can use Mediform, can't he, to like enhance his body, so slight enhancements. You could utilize that. I had a few consults with Tom Haynes, and he was like not necessarily referring to that, but he was kind of expressing it. And I remember, and I was like, okay, so like I've never had known anyone to utilize it, but there is slight enhancement ways, so maybe you could. And I don't think unless it went terribly wrong, you wouldn't notice it.
How do you determine as a coach your client being assisted?
They normally ask me.
So you would never recommend it to them? Okay.
It's not my place.
Mm.
Like, realistically, for disclaimer purposes, everything as a coach you do is for entertainment and research. If somebody looks phenomenal at the end of what you've put, let's just look.
Mm-hmm.
If someone looks absolute dog shit at the end of what you've put, let's just look. All them results you see, it's just entertainment.
Right.
Because you've got to, this is where, we have a responsibility, right? So whether I utilize a meal plan or macros, it could give you an eating disorder.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not my problem. That's not my problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's yours.
Yeah.
It's fact. You have to have a level of care. You have to talk about it and unravel it and go, right, okay, we have these options. We can go for a very flexible approach. You can go for this. But then going back to the assisted, I would never be the one to go this.
Right.
Let's say you hit mine, that's something we can all utilize, right? Even when it comes to that, right, please go away, research this particular supplement,
100%.
come back to me with any questions. You could Google your Himbine and talk about deaths. You could Google your Himbine and talk about libido being increased. You can talk about heart health and this, that, and the other. It's like you could type in, can drinking too much Pepsi Max kill me? And you'll find evidence to say it will. It's like that person has to do.
No more Pepsi for you!
That person has to consciously research everything and come back to you.
Yeah.
Then a couple of my clients, I won't go into names here, they kind of took the assisted route this year, and we're talking kind of going down the growth hormone pathway, or just clenbuterol and thyroid medication and stuff like that. And they then, what happens is you're opening a never-ending story. Because now what's the next drug I can use? Oh, this girl's using primobolan, this guy's using MPP, this guy's using Tren.
Do you think that's coming from social media? Yeah, I was about to say social media. I feel
everything does.
I used to train at a Pure Gym, and there was 16-year-olds talking about Tren.
Yeah.
And it's because they've seen it on TikTok.
But then this is where none of it's ever policed. So I'll tell you when I first started the gym, I was a fat fucker. I was 19 stone, and a guy I've got a lot of respect for him, but he sold me clenbuterol 2 weeks after being in the gym. I didn't know what it was. It come in a little pack with Chinese syllables and all this, and he says take one in the morning. I had a driving job at the time, and I was driving and my hands just.
Did you take it?
I didn't know what it was.
You can take it though.
So I took it.
I'm shit scared. I wouldn't.
My hands were shaking.
He told me if I take this, I'll look amazing.
Yeah. But then this is what happens. Now you're in the rabbit hole. You're in Wonderland.
I feel like women do that now though as well. It's like especially with supplements. I feel supplements. Obviously, there's benefits to taking supplements, but I feel like women are we're easy consumers, in terms of
we're all consumers.
Yeah. We're it's easy to sell to us.
I love health products. I love what supplement needs are doing, but it's monetizing.
Yeah.
It helps us, but it's do you need organ support on this dose? Did you get your bloods done to see if you need organ support? Don't just fucking go and spend 50 quid a month.
They're just taking it for taking its sake. Yeah.
So going back to the rabbit hole is you have to be very mindful when you're having those discussions, whether male or female, because you can say it all you like, less is more, less is more, less is more, but if that particular person can't even stick to a meal plan, how the fuck are they going to stick to what you're giving them dose-wise on a drug that's making them get results quicker?
What is your kind of goal with your business? Where do you see Train by Fox in a few years?
I wouldn't say I'm winging it.
Yeah.
I think you always I don't think I have any particular dream. I just bought what I would refer to as my dream car. but it's never been my dream car because I've always put it so far away and like I'm never going to have it. So like having an athlete on the Olympia stage for anyone that coaches competitive athletes is fucking up there. I see it possible because I think, right, athlete has pro status, athlete wins pro show, athlete goes to Olympia.
So with your athlete, is it, apologies if I completely butcher her name, is it Izzy that?
Lizzie,
yeah, who just got an IFBB program?
I don't mind talking about this, sorry Lizzie. So Lizzie had her makeup done a couple of times with my partner in her previous season, expressed her relationship with her existing coach, then saw my relationship with my clients, and I remember like she'd done the Two Bros British finals and she had a horrendous thing, and she told Molly that she left the coach, and I said, right, I'm not here to coach, I'm not here to finger, but I think anyone that's finished a prep needs some like level of direction. They need like a roadmap. So I said, let's just get on a call, let me help you with like a reverse out of this. And she was natural at the time, which was music to my ears. And she said she'd lost her cycle in June of that year. And I was like, we're now in November almost. I was like, that's a long time. And if I'm honest, and I told this to her, I was very scared, thinking there's this young girl who's genetically gifted, some little cockmunch is going to come along and try and like hustle her and put her on this and put her on that and have no care whatsoever for the fact that she's lost her cycle. Because she's a fucking sex sells. You post a few pictures of someone at that level, there's going to be some interaction somewhere. And granted, you could say that I saw that and I ran with it. And I had this conversation, and she was like, oh, I don't really know what to focus. And I was like, what is it you want? And she said, pro card. She puts that out on social media, those DMs get rammed with just people wanting to make a name. And I was like, right. And we discussed, and she was like thinking, oh, I'm going to go into another prep. And I said, let's draw this timeline. So we drew this. And she was shocked when I told her how much I charged. And she said, let's roll with it. And we got off a call and we programmed, obviously, Sweden in April. And I already knew in my head, I was like, I want it at that Ben Weeder. Like, it has to be in the UK because though Lizzie is like a genetic freak, right, to get her to that level of condition, I'm compromising everything. And that just wouldn't sit well. And there was always that like voice in my head, like, which is why we obviously went down the assisted route earlier. She utilised calorie control, and again, like, for someone that's built such an incredible physique naturally, you probably know the backlash she had after that show, where she put a story up saying like, done this naturally. Obviously she wasn't, and that was like, I get it, and sometimes like you have to just keep your mouth shut in these situations, and she didn't, and that got a lot of backlash, which then from her thing, she just achieved something incredible. Probably one of the youngest athletes to get IFBB Pro card as a figure girl. And now she's being like ridiculed from a lot of people. I was getting, I'm not going to say names here, but I was getting IFBB pros messaging me saying your client's disgusting for saying this. And I was like, how the fuck, like, what is this? Like, trying to defend, but still being amicable with that person because they have the right to express their opinion. But it's like, come on now, like, she's not hurt anyone, she's not done this.
Yeah, and it's kind of discrediting the win as well. Like,
it is.
I understand.
I think that's what I think that was part of the problem. Jealousy again on the success that she had rather than just go.
It doesn't really.
Well done.
The thing is like, I understand everybody's point, like, because you know, on social media, I think one of the biggest issues that people aren't being honest. Like we were discussing earlier, you know, it's great that all these women want to post stuff out there, but no one posts the stuff. No one posts the hardships.
Yeah, like there's going to, this is what we're on about here, is like, as a coach, you had a client do well, you're writing a caption, but within that journey, there's always going to be so many different pieces of hardship or like struggles or this, and we don't highlight those because to a degree it's disrespectful to that person on, is it right me doing this? That paints that kind of transformation in a very different way.
Yeah.
And coaching is a business, right? You shouldn't have that as your main priority, but that puts food on my table.
Yeah.
That also gives me the ability to afford to go to client shows.
Yeah.
That gives me the ability to run events and do this and continue to do that. So without having some level of a business mindset, I can't do all that.
Well, I think as well, like, the audience only want to see the positives.
Yeah.
And that kind of makes me sad when it comes to bodybuilding, because everybody's struggling, but everybody's so silent about it.
Yeah.
And actually, if we all just came together and showed the true realities of it, we would probably be a much closer community
but then
of
what
people.
we also have to be,
Yeah.
what we have to be kind of mindful of, right, is that we don't talk about these battles and make them so open that people start thinking it's okay to suffer. Right, it's okay if you're actively doing something about it. And I think there's so many people that aren't.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, shit happens, and I carry on peddling in fucking shit. But like, that's like saying, I've had 2 heart attacks, right? I could literally continue abusing my body with drugs and copious amounts of food and lack of alcohol. Guess what? I'm probably gonna have a fucking another one.
Well, this is like my asthma attack, right? And it's like, this is the thing, it's like, I don't post on social media like that. Like, no one knows kind of what I have to go through on a daily basis in terms of how it may affect me or how we've had to change my program to accommodate those things, you know, that I've been going through. But it's not a negative thing when these happen.
You need to talk about that.
Well, you know, funny enough, when you were saying about if we were to showcase our struggles, we don't want to highlight the fact that it's okay to struggle. One thing that I did towards the end of my last prep, which actually I wasn't even doing it for like a reaction. I just started doing it because I would send you or like my mum videos of me like just during my day to day like struggling, and my mum always found it more so particularly quite funny.
Yeah.
So after I competed, I did like a story of all these clips and like a montage of like just
people love it.
And it's now a highlights on my story, and people found it so funny.
Some people though, and sorry, like thing is like some people love it because you're expressing it and they care about you in this. Some people love it because it's just generally like your shit being true.
Yeah.
Some people love it because they can look at you and haha, bitch is struggling.
Yeah.
Right. And then what you got to look at is your battles is like, we're all influencers. There's somebody that is being influenced by what we're doing. And that might be that you talking openly that you're struggling post-show and you're eating loads, make people, next person that's already a greedy fucker, feel that it's okay to eat more.
Yeah.
Because they're influenced thinking, oh, she's okay, she's doing it, it's fine. This person's doing it, fine. And it's everything like that. Like, I know that I hate when somebody says, oh, you're so busy, but I'm not busy, I'm productive.
Yeah. Oh,
I've taught myself that, like, if I write a list of what I need to do today, I will not rest until that list is done.
And I think that comes down to as well, like, when a lot of people say that to you about how you're so how you're so busy. It's like, I was just thinking, maybe you're not Mr. Doing yourself, maybe you're Mr. Productive. Maybe we should change it.
Yeah,
and it's just, but people, do you know what? I've learned in life, no matter what it is, doesn't even matter if it's bodybuilding, work, whatever. I feel when you're busy or succeeding, whatever that may look like, other people have to interject because they're not doing it. And that's all those comments are about. Like, even if you're struggling, not doing well, for them to say ha ha, they're only saying like, they only are happy about your struggle because it makes them feel better about what they're not doing.
Yeah. We all have an energy level, don't we? Yeah. And if we let far too much negative in that, no matter what element, like, I know that there's occasions and Molly has to pull me up on this, and she'll go, you're not even listening to me, are you? And it's so common, you know,
today.
But it is, and it's like, because we're big, so the productive thing, and this is where we probably need to kind of go, we need some switch off. It needs to probably stop racing our mind on what the next idea is, what the next kind of, what can I do next? Because there needs to be some switch off, and I'm learning that slowly. but like when she does that, like I immediately, like she's probably just said 20 different words to me, and they've just gone.
Yeah.
And then she'll go, what did I just say? And I'm like, and she walked off. I remember she like pulled me up and said, you need to fix this because like you're busy, but we're not interacting at this point. And I looked and I was like, right, I know what I'm doing again. I'm going to the gym and I'm bumping into people, but to an element, like I want them to get on with me. I like to be liked.
Yeah.
Right? And I want to interact. I need to not ask this person how they are.
Yeah.
Because that person now dips into that energy source that I have.
Yeah, you want them to have. You want the interactions to be positive.
Yeah. And we could all deal and have a therapist. We could all have like someone to offload to.
Yeah.
And I will generally like I will go for a walk and I'll almost voice note myself, like, you know, just where you kind of write a note.
Yeah.
And I'll offload it and I'll look at it and I'll read it and I'll break it down and go, like, what do I need to work on this week? And I've already told myself, because I've just says everything that's going on. Like, it might be tasks, like, right, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do this. And notes always like realistic, picks your voice up quite well and writes it and I'll go, right, now let's break that into tasks for tomorrow.
Talking to yourself is so powerful, you know that?
Yeah.
Do you know how often I talk to myself, like when I'm during prep, like, or as you say, walking down the street or by yourself? It's not crazy. Like, I always say, to you, crazy is good, because I say if you don't have a bit, if you don't have a little bit of crazy in you, yeah, I don't know, you're just a normal. You're just mellow. You're just mellow. I feel like having a bit of crazy in you. You know, people say, "Oh, that person's insane." He's talking to himself. Talking to yourself works, you know, because you offload and you get it out there, and you're like, "Oh, okay, right." And then you listen to. Yeah, but then you can fix your puzzle.
Yeah,
you can fix what I need to do, how I need to be productive.
Yeah,
and get to where I need to be with that. Like,
and you also realise how fucked your head is. Like sometimes I'll read it and I'll go, "Why am I like?" Say like. Because we all suffer some level of imposter syndrome, or we all are made to feel unsure on if we're good enough, or if somebody else is doing more than us, right? So like you'll go on social media, and I've had it very recently, and like I had a client leave last year. He left in April, then he came back because the grass wasn't greener. And then he left again, and that hit me hard. Like it took me a while to kind of get over, and I just thought, right, okay, I need to block this person out. I don't need to see their shit. I don't need to see this, because I have a certain level of love and care for that person. Like we talked a lot, and they left because they was with somebody within the team. Then they split up, and they left, and so on and so on. And it made me kind of like, I sometimes I'll see something and I'm like, right, now I need to have that conversation. Like, why are you letting this modulate and affect your mood today? Because that affecting my mood is going to affect how I talk to Molly. That is going to indirectly make me conscious or paranoid on what the next like message is about. And you have to, because we all have that. And you can go online, right, and go, is he doing my show? You said it earlier, like within this prep, there's certain things you see that as you think, and it's like it's your responsibility to protect your energy. So if you're seeing something that is make you feel that you need to get rid of it.
No, that's something that I think is a strong quality, but I feel I'm almost too good at it now, in the point where I do have to monitor
you can see
at the cutting point. So as I mentioned earlier, like I've had a lot of people come and go in my life, but I feel I've been very fragile before as a person, that I've had to be very strong in terms of knowing when the cut-off point is into the negative energy that's in my life. So I've had to let go some what I would say were good people, but then if they're bringing down my energy, then they're not good people.
The thing is, it's so easy for people to like take a seat at the table, Right, and I'll always allow that. Like Michael J. Anthony was gas. That's like his metaphor. Like, just come and take a seat at the table. But it's like we as humans, we like, that's cringy. We allow that so much. We allow people to come and take a seat, and within that first, let's say that first meal, right? You think you know someone. You think that they're like a forever. And you kind of make yourself so relevant to them, and then you bond and all of this, right? But they'll leave, and it's like, right, why do we then allow ourselves to get upset when that person does? Because someone's going to replace that seat within the next 3 months. You learn to get a bit like heartless in the sense that you put up walls and barriers to the next person that sits, which you shouldn't, because that's not that person's responsibility, because you've been hurt or felt bad by. When somebody is not reaching out to you, let the ego go and reach out to them. And I have to say this to clients, like, I need you to care about yourself enough to message me. If you're like, we generally kind of like, and it becomes not a problem, but it comes like through a prep scenario. If you have a very close relationship with a client, through an off season, that client generally doesn't want to like bother you or interact with you as much, and then the next person is in prep. Now that can make somebody feel very low, because now they probably don't feel as relevant as what they was in prep, and that's not the case. That is just that attention span has to be moved on to this person whilst we're at this phase. Yeah. And you're at different partitions, but it's like, I have to make that person aware that if you still want this relationship, you can reach out, we can talk, we can do this.
That's good.
Make yourself relevant.
Yeah, it is that.
At the end of the day, it's like, you can only be as good as you want to be as well. So it's like, you know, I think if someone really cares about their journey, they need to hold themselves accountable for asking those questions or having that relationship with you as much as they would hold themselves accountable for doing their steps or, you know, weighing out their food, because the relationship with your coach is just as important as all those tick boxing exercises that we do every day. And if you in a weird way, it's only of benefit to them, because the closer they are with you, you know, the better relationship they have, the more you can actually do for them as a client.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So, and I feel that, like, again, going back to the conversation earlier about them being afraid to ask questions, this is how we all learn and grow and develop as individuals, is by asking questions. It's like, it's almost like when you met Molly, how did you get to know her? By asking questions. We don't end up getting married or having long-lasting relationships just by keeping your mouth shut and pretending everything's like hunky-dory. You know, you've got to have arguments, you've got to have disagreements, you trial and error, and you go through things, you do things that each other like and dislike, and then you get there.
You have to believe, in any relationship, you have to believe in the person. Everyone's seeking some level of validation. So like, you says that you're keeping your prep offline. That to me shows you're not bothered about validation. You're not doing this for anyone to see it. This is for you and you only. And I think if we had more of that, the level of competition that would turn up to shows would be higher. There'll be a reduction of disappointment when people aren't placing first, because they've learned that like, you can't, if you're first, second or third, right, your physique doesn't change. You still are in whatever shape you're in. Like, that doesn't get any better. Like, you can't suddenly maybe move from third to first and look any better. So if you just look at it as like, this is me, and stop seeking that point of validation. Because I have it a lot of the time. Like, a client recently, bless her, and I care about this person a lot. She got second at her first show, got fourth at her second show, got third at her third show. So in her mind, she got worse. And from the first show to the third show, pretty much like, she beat some of these girls that she was against. And I was like, apples and pears. And this is like such a kind of like a change of events on everything, from like one time they'll award a softer look to a harder look to this. And it's like, if you're letting this define you, like you use this a lot, it's not losses, it's lessons. we don't really learn and all of that. And it's like you have to have that, and then you learn. And I particularly learned from this person that like, right, okay, there must be somewhere deep down, and we've not had this discussion, but like, I know it. There must be somewhere deep down trauma of not feeling adequate, and that's where that validation point comes in. I'm like, right, do I need her to get a first place, and that's mission done? Now she's going to start believing herself more.
Yeah, no, it's interesting because my first 2 years when I competed, no first place.
No.
My first 2 years, yeah. First 2 years, no first place at all. And I competed like, the first year I competed 3 times, then next year I competed I think like, I don't know, 3 times, no first place. So imagine the 6 competitions.
I don't know that. Like, I look at your year last year and just go, this guy's a fucking natural born killer.
No.
He just goes in and kills a show.
So, you know what I mean? Because people see the success like it's overnight.
Yeah.
Like, this guy wins all the time.
Winning.
But when I first competed, not wins, I came 4th my first competition, then 3rd, 2nd, and then 3rd again. And I just kept going. People think that it happens overnight. Some people think that, he did it in a year. No, it takes time.
I put my hand up.
You have to work so hard to get something. And it's the journey that means more than the success.
Did your personality, or like, did you break in any way through those fought like?
Oh, I'm the worst.
Yeah, okay.
I take losses so hard.
Yeah.
But it motivates me so much. Like, I love to prove people wrong.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that I know people see me and I'll post it, and I purposely did this as well. It's on my Instagram still now. I purposely posted where I came, and I was like, okay, this happened, 4th place, 3rd place, competition, and I'm like, right, the next one I have to win. I can push myself. And if I push myself, I can.
Did you put that in the caption or whatever?
I didn't put it in the caption. I will win the next one, but I did say that move on to the next one.
Yeah.
On to the next one.
You said
like, you have to keep moving forward. You can't think of, like, it's done. Feel crap. Okay, feel crap. Good. But let it motivate you.
Yeah,
don't feel crap and stay there.
Temporary.
Yeah.
So say this right, and this is what I have to say to people is right. I think I saw this as well the other day, which made me go, yeah, that's cool. Your first place is going to be forgotten. Probably quicker than your 4th place. Because people will remember that you lost. I remember when you lost them. No one will really remember when you won.
Yeah.
And
Sorry.
No,
I was gonna say it's like everybody will always tell you to look at reviews, but people only write bad reviews. You'll never go to a restaurant and have a fantastic time.
They're just scrolling past one star.
Let me go write a Google review.
What's wrong with this?
Yeah.
And then you look like, so my client Sophie, she did first timers, 1. She did Universe, 1, turned pro. She did Pro Show, 1.
She smashed it.
Right. 2 bros. She did her own class on her own, so 1. Did the True Novice, got 3rd. Obviously then Novice was same lineup, so got 3rd. And she come to me after, and she goes, "Why'd you look so happy?" I was like, "Best thing that ever happened to you." And she was like, "Why?" I says, "Because you literally come onto the scene and just bag the win. Like that is now going to have whatever that judge says, you're going to follow. Whatever I say, you're going to follow."
That's like you said to me as well. It's like, and this is, I guess, what's made me really, that it's put fear in me, if anything. But I remember you said to me once, you was like, you need to lose.
You do. You have to.
And he was like, and losing will be the best thing that ever happened to you.
Even Nia did it at the British finals.
Yeah.
She said that part of that season, the best thing that happened to her. Because you win, guess what you do? You drag your feet.
Get complacent.
You get, oh, there's a cookie.
Yeah.
Right, and I said to Soph, she was like, I goes, right, the one thing I need you to do now is take my phone. I've taken pictures of you. Go and review your physique from every angle. And forget the other girls on stage, look at your physique, come back to me if you have any problems. That's all I can do. I can't guarantee a result. I can't give you first place, and that's why I never talk about it. And she came and she was like, yeah, I'm happy. And I was like, right, okay, that moves on. We wake up tomorrow, we go to the next show. So let's do this. I have a really in-depth check-in sheet, right, that I know is time consuming. And I will simplify that, but it is time consuming.
It is.
right? And then some people won't put all the information into that, but they also won't talk. The fuck can I do my job with that? How can an accountant save you money on your tax return if you don't fucking believe it?
Sometimes we'll have like 12 conversations just about
Like this.
like, so sometimes like I'll be like, oh, like we'll have to have a conversation, or we've had like actual like meetings to structure like our game plan in terms of what we're going to do. And then like with my sessions, like it's always like, how did it go? Why did you not like this? Why did you have a bad session? Like, how's your obviously for me, like health is a massive thing. Like, how is this impacting your cardio? Or if my say for
that's incredible, because that's your partner.
I guess.
Like for him, both as a partner and your coach, to take that much interest is invaluable, because like rarely he could just be telling you to eat X, Y, Z and do X, Y, Z. Because though he's your coach, he lives with you, he does this, he does that. So like that's credit to him, and then for you to probably be actually accountable on giving that information. Because you could also say, yeah, it's my partner. Because I know like so many coaches that I coach them and they're a coach, and then I coach their partner, and I'm like, you could do this, mate. Like, no, I couldn't.
I think, do you know, and that's one thing when I originally spoke with Mia, that's one thing she said is like, it's the pressure. And I feel maybe a lot of couples might not want to take on that responsibility, because if they don't do well, their other half's going to look at them like, they're afraid they're going to look at them like it's your fault.
Yeah.
Or it's going to cause...
dynamics.
Yeah.
Or like some partners can't accept being spoken to like, you need to do fucking more. So like when you said like you're on the spin bike and Josh was there like more, faster, like you have thick skin enough to just do it. Where like if I know when I was like PT and I used to drag Molly and like she fucking knocked me out. She would not let me raise my voice to her. And we have that, and I'm like, no. You can go to this PT, you can go to the... I think that's powerful.
I think, yeah, it depends as well, and I think it depends. I think it's it can be nice. I think as from the flip side of the other things as well, I feel as the athlete you want to work harder because, and I don't know, I feel both parties are kind of pushing for the same goal because you don't want to let each other down. But I feel there's actually more pressure as the athlete because I'm representing. Yeah.
But then that's that's a unique skill as well. Because I asked that question to like clients, like, do you feel pressured to do this prep for me? And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, do you feel that you have a kind of task to deliver? And they're like, oh, I'm just going to do what you say. I'm like, but are you doing it at the highest level? So like, I have some people where they go, I don't want to let you down. I don't want to, which they never would. Yeah. But it's like when they say that, I know that right, this person will eat shit if I tell them to.
Yeah. And that goes back to like their why though and their purpose. And I think bodybuilding is very glamorized nowadays.
Yeah.
It's
trendy.
It is trendy, and which kind of frustrates me because it goes back to that lineup. You can see the people that it means more to. You can see the people with purpose.
I like getting an idea of what a person's battle is or hobby.
There's more.
And it was
there's more to you. It's not your bodybuilding isn't your identity. It's your way of life.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And you need something to accompany that, because if in anything, right, you could lose a limb, but you'd still find a way to train. But if let's say that particular hobby you have outside of the gym, you can't, if something's taken away from you to stop doing that, you will feel lost because you've programmed yourself to go to the gym, to eat this way, to do this, to do that. It's that, like you said, it's a way of life now. Yeah. It's not a fucking hobby anymore. Yeah. Like competing is not a fucking hobby.
It's just your lifestyle.
Yeah. It's what you do. Then that hobby is what you try and switch off and do. Like I still fucking watch wrestling. It's like,
Yeah.
it's weird to some people, but like, it's entertaining for me.
Yeah.
But for me, it's cooking.
Yeah.
Like, I love baking, I love cooking, and
But is that cooking for you or cooking for others?
Ooh. Both.
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 Cooking is, I don't know, I feel like I connect
Yeah.
through food. I like to understand.
What's your favourite dish?
Oh, I can't do that one.
Okay, so say like, if you was to make Josh a meal, what would you cook? Don't say fucking rice.
No, I chicken sweet potato. No, Josh.
I'll take it.
No,
Yeah.
Josh. I would make Josh lasagna.
Right.
That's his favorite meal.
Your mother.
Oh, brown stew, chicken, rice and peas.
It's a bit. So your sister.
Anything in the air fryer that's from Iceland.
Wow.
But what we're getting at here is like you actually pay attention to the person, and you're like it's meaningful.
Yeah.
It's not
she
it's
gets
not
it
for
right.
you, it's not for you, it's for others in that sense. So if it was you cooking for you, you'd cook Josh what you wanted to cook,
Mm-hmm.
but you're cooking what Josh wants to cook, what Josh would
Yeah,
enjoy.
yeah.
And I think that's kind of like going again of how like not so selfish you are.
Mm.
I
never really saw it in that way, actually.
It's always it is. You find that within people. You look at their traits and what they're doing, and you realise. I can tell within most conversations like you're either a selfish individual or you're selfless.
Mm.
And if you're selfish, to some particular way, you're going to go very fucking far within bodybuilding. If you're selfless and you've got the right circle of people, you'll go very far because you will feed off of those people around you. If you're selfish, you can fucking go all the way because you want it.
Mm.
And you have to indent it. So where you said you've lost people, like I have conversations with them, I'm almost convincing people to push people away.
Mm.
I'm like, this don't feed you.
But this is like, and again, like going back to that, I can relate to that. It's like, I think I mentioned before, like with my family, you know, like I love them to bits, but there's scenarios where it gets too much for me. And I have to just, it's not that I push them away, I have to take a step back.
Yeah.
Because at the point where I'm getting upset and frustrated by them kind of the interference, you know, I just have to take myself away from it so that I can regroup and that I can focus. It's not me saying that like I'm not wanting them to be around me.
No.
It's just I need them to respect the craft and that I'm like, and for them to support what I'm doing. Like my mum, she's taken so much time to really understand and just she's accepted this is what I want to do. So for her as a loving mother, it's how can I be a part of it? What can I do? What can I do to help
That's
you?
where the love is.
Yeah.
Because you look at it as like friends. This isn't healthy. Why are you doing this to your body? You should eat more. Like Josh should let you rest. Then on the flip side, oh, why are you eating all this food? I thought you was dieting. You're giving up the gym because you're now not in a fucking prep.
Yeah.
And then you have, and I've come to realise like people serve their purpose in your life. They don't expire. They just serve that purpose.
There's an expression where it says, going back to like your relationship and love, it's like you love in despite of their faults.
Yeah.
So it's basically saying that you can accept that person even when they're not perfect. So they say it's not you should see a person at their worst and then decide whether if you still choose to love them.
What's your worst? And like my worst thing about Molly is when she drives. She's an absolute bitch. Like I can't stand it.
So give me the ick.
It's not even the ick. It's just like I just have to sit. Like she will get such road rage.
Yeah.
Like and she'll be shouting at the person in front of her. And I don't know if it's because I had 2 fucking heart attacks and life's too short. But I'm like literally listening to her and I'm like, and she's like, I can't believe it. She's telling me, and I'm like, yeah. And she must know that like it pisses me off.
Yeah.
But I'd like it's.
You love her anyway.
12 years, she's not fucking changed.
Yeah.
But like she would drive and she'd be like fucking infuriated, like undercutting people like, and I'm like, why?
You know what?
It's not hurt you.
I can't expect to do that. That makes me laugh.
And then we all have that. Like she hates when I don't listen.
Yeah.
And you'll have like something you personally dislike with Josh, and vice versa.
Come on then, what is it?
What's yours? You asked me.
You go first. You go first.
Me.
Come on, this is the Michael podcast. We're just getting to know this relationship.
What is it that I look like?
When you tell him he's not
You know
listening.
what? It's questions. When I ask her questions about it, I expect it's like a yes or no. She will go on a tangent and
I
explain
bet you've hated
what
me
happened
today.
yesterday to the other year, and then today. And it's
I
completely
go like
in
this.
circles
Yeah.
and like a wiggly line, and
Josh gave me a funny
and then I
look
would
at the
then come to them like, is it yes or is it no?
He's very
And
direct.
she's like,
Yeah.
yes. So I'm like, that's weird to say.
So he'll be like, as an example.
Josh is like, this could have been a 45-minute podcast. man.
Like, he'll be like, oh, so like as an example, like if we book a holiday, he'll be like, so do you want a summer holiday or a winter holiday? I'm like, well, a summer holiday sounds nice because I could wear a bikini, do this and that. But actually, I've seen like a blue lagoon nice.
Yeah.
And he'll be like,
I'm very simple.
and he's just like, so what's the answer?
No.
is it summer or is it
Is
winter?
that right? He's told you his. Go on.
You're just stubborn.
I am.
Yeah.
I am.
No, but it's like it could be a good and a bad thing.
It's a strength and a weakness.
Yeah, but we said this on the but you actually admitted this on your episode of your toxic trait. I asked you what your toxic trait is, and like he's stubborn. I kind of just, but then I feel like that's the element of getting to know like your person. Like I know that
You can unravel it.
yeah, I know that he's stubborn. We speak about it and we work on it and we do this thing. And to be fair, like
Does he apologise when he's in the wrong after being stubborn?
Josh is really good at apologising
There you go.
when he thinks he's wrong.
I
no, but
feel not too bad.
Josh is better at apologising than me. I had to.
So you're stubborn as well then?
I yeah,
Oh,
I am.
you're stubborn.
I
You
yeah.
hesitate.
Yeah, no,
Of course you're stubborn.
No, because I was gonna say is this. I think
He's trying to come up with.
I don't like displeasing. That's
Yeah,
that's
that's
that's what it
I
is.
think
It's
that's one of
not.
her best traits, but also one of her worst traits. Like
Yeah.
she does not want to do wrong to me. She wants to make me so happy that sometimes she'll do some things that will like contradict it
Yeah,
in a way.
So it's not stubbornness. I'll avoid it. So again,
Yeah.
I'll go all the way around.
She'll go all around like, I don't want to be wrong.
I mean,
I want you to be
yeah.
happy.
I'm like, yeah, but my
It's alright.
intention was this, and it's not my fault, and I
Yeah.
didn't do it. And it's like, actually, I just need to admit that I messed up.
Getting to know them both more and
She'll
more.
do
now.
anything for it.
But I'm passionate.
That's
You both are like talking
Yeah.
to you both today is like I think these podcasts, the more guests you get on, is like it's gonna highlight where you actually care about people, in the sense that I think you're interested in the stories, and I think like when I will say this, like there's always I've been invited on a couple of podcasts this year, and I probably should arrange to go on them, but I'm always mindful of like the alternative motive.
right.
And I didn't ever think for a second you had one, because I thought, right, we'd just be sitting here having a conversation. But it's like, right, what angle is this going to go at? What is there? And it is just unlocking a story for you to kind of learn about more people and learn about people's battles and forces and what gives them the power to do what they do.
Yeah.
Right, and I think that's really cool. But I think like you do need to kind of go, right, we're not making this a 2.5 hour, 3 hour.
That's what
I'm
Edison's
scared of how long the loading will be. That's
Yeah,
what I'm scared of.
I
And
think
I'm like, she's gonna be like, Josh, it's still loading. I'm like,
I don't even
Yeah,
know.
No, I-
it's
it's-
3 hours.
I think we'll cut it there. In case the phone dies, I think the chargers will give up. So no, we really appreciate having you on. Like we were very excited for this episode, and I hope that
We'll do a part 2 one day.
one day, soon.
Yeah. I mean,
Soon.
I reckon by November we'll all have so much
we'll
to
have to
talk
talk
about
about,
and discuss. And we're probably
100%.
going to see each other at
You would have
shows.
gone over your Instagram problem and
You're gonna see her at shows.
Yeah.
100%.
Don't expose me. I'm so
You
like,
don't tell them the
No,
shows.
she will cut that out.
yeah. But yeah, so everyone, thank you so much for watching. Have you got any plugs that you want to throw in? before we cut off?
Sophie Emery told me to give her a countless shout out. Sophie, good luck in Milan.
Good luck,
There you go,
Sophie.
mate.
Good luck, Sophie.
That's
Good luck,
enthusiasm,
Sophie.
isn't it?
Yeah. Well done, Sophie.
No, just, you know, it's fine. I mean, Michael _trained by Fox.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
As far as we know, this gentleman here, he is killing the game with his clients, and there's a big reason why we do want you to come on there, because we want to highlight people who are upcoming, but also are doing so well that help me with this.
We've all deteriorated.
They're doing so well.
I don't know how to talk.
The vocabulary words is
Doing so well. The fact that we want everyone to be able to like give them a platform also.
Yeah.
We're very
We'll finish
excited.
on that note.
We're very excited to see what happens this year.
Yeah.
And again, everybody, if you could please check out the No Days Off website, Instagram handles.
Lovely bottles.
It's there we go. And again, please check out the new collection, Quality 20 for 20% off. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Ah!